Hey, everybody, this is Jeff. Welcome to the Bonded Brotherhood podcast. All right.
So number 8.
Number 8, manage stress. So again, we've talked about some of this already today, but like identify your triggers and develop coping mechanisms. So I've done that. We've, talked about being intentional. I'll identify my feelings like we talked about on number 1. Also, learn to say no. Learn to say no so that you can not overcommit to a church calling, a work assignment, a family thing, a neighborhood get-together that you agreed to make a dessert for. Say no sometimes. If you know that you don't have time or it's going to put extra stress on you and you'd rather not be stressed that day so that you can give your family love and time, then say no.
Oh, 100%. There are so many things that will pull at us, whether it's, you named a bunch of them, church callings, work, coaching, little league, sports. We want to get so active in things that it can cause problems elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Now, I knew when I was getting stressed, I would break out in cold sores. Every single time I would get a stress, I could feel it coming, and then I would get a cold sore. And that was just due to a stress. That's how it presented itself. So and everyone's different in that way, right? But let me go to this one. How do you identify your stress triggers? Because how many people are cognizant of this? Or how many people are just, they go through life and life is just doing whatever life does. And I think that might be the bulk of people.
Yeah. And that's where being intentful. I know I keep going back to it and I sound like a freaking.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. How can you figure out how to be intentful if you know you're not being? You know what I'm saying? Because I look at my younger life and I just kind of went with every day. Here's what's going on today. I got to deal with today. Mm-hmm. And still, that's largely how we go through life, right? Mm-hmm. This is what's going on today. I've got to deal with this while I'm trying to do these other things. And then being intentful of, does this really matter? Does this, what am I doing? Am I just being pushed around by this big body of water, or am I in my own boat guiding my own way?
There you go.
And I think a lot of people, they get pushed around by whatever it is, family, work, church, whatever church.
Just whatever cultural expectation.
Whatever it is can be pushing you around. So how do we identify those stresses? Because it might just seem like it's a normal day if you haven't done the time to be grateful or to pray, or to sit down and go, okay, what is it I'm doing? Mm-hmm. How does a guy that is just kind of going through his day identify a stressor?
It's hard and it takes practice and it takes humility. So I'll start with that. But you have to start somewhere. So at some point you have to decide, I keep feeling this tightness in my chest. And this, it took me years to identify that I had what they call anxiety. I just had this feeling that
it was just a normal thing.
It was a normal feeling. And then as I described it to a doctor at one point, and he's like, do you feel like you have anxiety? I'm like, I don't know. What does anxiety feel like? And he described it, and I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
So it was just a normal day.
It was a normal day.
That's what I'm getting at is how does someone figure this out?
So you have to want to. You have to want to, you have to put in effort, you have to realize, you have to not be ashamed of your emotions. And really my experience has been, I'll kind of do an experiment. I'm feeling this. I don't like this feeling. What could be causing this? What could I be doing that's causing this? And sometimes I make a list. Sometimes I just think it through in my head. Like, okay, I'm going to stop doing this and see if I feel better. Or I'm going to start doing this and see if I feel better. And it's kind of an experiment to find out, because what might work for me might not work for you, right? We're different. We're wired different. We keep talking about that. But really, I think to identify a trigger, you have to look for the trigger. I think most people don't. Most people will just go through life and like, I keep getting mad, or I'm anxious, or I'm sad. Like, okay. But most people don't try and figure out why. But if you dive into it and you're intentful for a long period of time, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen in a day or a week. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes I found value in talking out loud, because sometimes as I'm saying it out loud, I'll talk to my wife. I'm like, I've been thinking about this, this, and this. And as it's coming out, I realize how stupid it sounds, but I've been replaying that story in my head for a week. But when I say it out loud, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing. Why would anybody think that? But I've been thinking it. So, say it out loud, whether it's to yourself or to someone that you love, what you've been thinking about. Record yourself, listen back to it, make a list of things that it might be causing it, and start implementing things or getting rid of things. Experiment. You'll find it. You'll figure it out. Sometimes it's really easy. Sometimes it's not. But if you don't try, you're definitely not going to find them.
Yeah. So that would be something for the listeners. It's a really individual, personal thing, but we highly recommend that you do some time to figure it out, because life's short to just be angry and miserable. And there's so many things. When I found out I had a severe form of PTSD from my childhood. If you listen to the other podcasts, it started early on, and it's thousands of traumas over a long period of time that affect your person. Mm-hmm. And I liken it to a little kid. As I was a parent growing up, they're real easy to teach when they're young. They're like wet cement. You can go scratch in wet cement and you can do anything to it, right? You can carve designs in it, you can mold it, you can shape it. But once that cement dries, it's there. So that's kind of what we're getting at, is a lot of you might have some of these things that we're talking about. A lot of people have PTSD just from life.
More than you would think.
More than you would think. It might be a regular thing.
There you go. Hey, you want to figure out your triggers like we talked about earlier? If you can't do it on your own, go talk to somebody. Get some help. Because, Steve, I've had similar experiences.
They'll figure it out quick.
I've sat down with a counselor a handful of months ago, and he's like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, it came out of nowhere. I'm like, I this, and I'm crying. I'm like, I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting this. But I felt that he cared, and I just, it needed to come out. And he goes, there's a series of questions I'd like to ask you. He's like, do you this? Rate yourself on this. Yes or no? And he went through and he goes, all right, you're 20 out of 20. You have this. Well, he wouldn't say you have this. He's like, it looks like you probably have this. What do you think about this? He said, the way you answered the questions lead me to believe that you experience this, this, and this. Is that accurate? I'm like, yeah, very accurate. And he's like, okay, that leads me to believe that you may be on this spectrum with this disorder. Let me describe the disorder, see if it sounds familiar. I'm like, yeah, that sounds very familiar. That's me to a T. And he's like, well, do you think you have this? I'm like, from what we've talked about, I think so. And he's like, I do too, but it's up to you to decide if you want to accept it or not. That was my experience with this counselor, the same one that you went to. And I was like, wow, I love his approach. You know, everything. It's, here's what I'm seeing in you, but you have to accept it. And
that's genius.
Isn't
and he figured me out that quick.
Yeah. And like you said, identifying your what you have doesn't sound right, but maybe diagnosing yourself is the same thing as identifying your triggers. They're on the same, they're in the same realm.
Yes.
Once you know, then you know how to address them.
Yeah, like I said earlier, once I knew what the problem was, and it's okay to have problems. There's not a non-crazy person on the planet.
Absolutely.
We all have something. It's just the way it is. It's human nature.
Yep, for sure.
So it's okay
It's normal. Do not be ashamed of it.
Yeah. Just figure out what it is. If you need help with a therapist, get help. If you just need to go out and exercise, because walking and exercise is tremendous in helping with depression and all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
Taking care of yourself. The food that we eat is just garbage.
Yeah.
It's poisonous. The Instagram bullshit that we look at, that's not good for us. There's so much in the world that's not good for us.
Yeah. Be present, make choices, be deliberate. All right.
Yes.
So let's move on to number 9, stay connected. Maintain regular contact with people that you care about, the people that care about you. And one thing that I hear quite often is, I cut this person out of my life because they haven't called me, and like, why am I the only one that calls? And that's a valid point, if you're calling. But sometimes I've got myself in, no one's called me, this, that, and the other, and I start feeling sorry for myself. And then I have this stupid thought that makes so much sense that irritates me. It's like, oh, well, when was the last time I reached out to somebody? Am I approachable? Am I walking around this ornery person that, why would somebody call me? I have this terrible aura or demeanor about me. Nobody wants to do anything with an ornery guy. So how am I presenting myself? And am I doing what I'm expecting other people to do for me?
Yeah. Yeah. Am I part of the problem or part of the solution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
and I will say on this too, some of these loved ones may or may not be your family.
absolutely.
And some of these people that you need to cut out of your life or have, or there may be some people in your life that you do need to cut out.
And it's hard to
that
do.
Are toxic, that are mean, that are manipulative, that have encircled us in, that sit there and pick on us. They're bullies or whatever. We're talking about human connection here, but there's some garbage people out there that you've got to cut them loose for a while.
You really do. And I've done that, and it's been very painful, but I've done it. This was before I was being intentful, but I think this might have been the first intentful thing that I did, was cut a very, very loved family member out of my life, because I realized absolutely 100% nothing good ever comes from an interaction with this person. In fact, the exact opposite. I would get anxious and upset and short with my kids and my wife, knowing that I was going to be around this person in a couple days. Like, I dread it. My body was telling me. So I had to make the choice.
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
Sucks.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I wish it was different, but it's not.
Yeah.
So.
And it's not forever, because that person might change and come around.
I'm changing. Everybody's open to change.
Yeah.
I don't hate anybody enough to not give them a second chance. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. All right. Get adequate sleep. That's obvious. It's obvious. You got to sleep. And this is one that Steve and I were talking about earlier today. I'm not good at this, but I need to. In fact, I'm going to make a commitment today, because it needs to happen. Put your phone, when you go to bed, put your phone in a different room. Put your phone in a different room. I was telling Steve not the reason, but a reason I keep my phone right next to my bed on my nightstand with the volume up is I have teenage kids that aren't home when I go to bed. And if I were to fall asleep and they needed something, I want them to be able to get a hold of me. And if my phone's in the other room, am I going to hear it? Probably not. But, I'll have a conversation with my wife and I'll figure this out. I woke up at 2:30 this morning, bing, wide awake. My mind's going 100 miles an hour. I laid there for probably 30 minutes, kept trying to roll over, kept trying to meditate, I go through this thing where I flex the muscles in my body from my head all the way down to my toe, and then take deep breaths and try and relax myself. It wasn't working. Don't laugh at me, but it works for me sometimes. At 2:30 this morning, it wasn't working. So I rolled over and got on my phone, and I start making notes for this podcast. I wrote out this great big long text that I'm going to send to one of our partners, and You know, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm scrolling Instagram and I look up at the clock and it's 6 o'clock. And I've been on my phone for almost 4 hours at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty certain if I hadn't got on my phone sometime between there, I would have fallen asleep. So here I am. It's whatever time in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, you know, and I'm running on 3 hours of sleep because gosh dang it. I have sleep issues, number one, but number two, I have my phone there. And I think that we can all agree. I can't tell you because I haven't done it, but I would love for my wife and I to get in bed and not have our phones there, not watch her play solitaire and me scroll Instagram and play Block Blaster, right? Oh, I got to get a stupid high score. Instead, I would love to put our phones down, get in bed, talk about our day, pray, set goals for tomorrow, communicate, and be present. I don't know that I've ever really done that, but I'm going to commit right now that I'm going to figure that out the way that I can be there for my kids and also not have my phone present. It's possible. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So this is one thing I don't struggle with at all. My phone stays in my den. It's near my chair. And then my wife and I sleep in separate rooms. I highly recommend it. I get great sleep. She doesn't have to put up with me snoring. I don't have to put up with her up late night watching movies and then her snoring. So I get great sleep. We still do the husband-wife thing. But yeah, my phone is not in my room. It's upstairs.
So you've taken extra steps because this is get adequate sleep. So you just listed several different things, the big steps, I think, that you've made so that you can sleep.
Well, yeah, it used to be I had a nightstand and my phone was right on the nightstand because we have those plugs where just your phone plugs right into the plug. Had the house designed and built like that. Well, my wife likes to lay in bed and read books and watch movies and all that kind of stuff with the lights on, and it's loud and it's noisy. I like dark and quiet. So I would be tired, and I'd go in to lay down at 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, and she's over there watching a movie with no headphones on. Hey, can you put some headphones on? And then she would, but then I'd start snoring, so she'd wake me up because I was interrupting or whatever. Or the light's on. It's hard to sleep when the light's on.
Yeah.
And this went on for quite a long time because your husband and wife are supposed to sleep in the same bed, right? Well, then inevitably I'd wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I'd have to use the bathroom, and then I'd get back into bed and she's snoring. So now I can't go to sleep because she's snoring. And it got to the point where one night she either woke me up or something because I was snoring, and I went, you know what? Instead of getting mad, because I'd get mad, that'd be my default mood.
You're
waking me up. How am I supposed to be anything other than mad? I provide for you. You're waking me up from sleep so that I can get up in the morning and go work. So that was my default. I'd get mad. Now, I thought, why am I getting mad? And why am I doing this? It's the insanity thing, right? I'm going to do the same thing and hope something else changes.
Yeah.
So I went, you know what? That's my pillow. Luckily, we have a guest room downstairs with a bed that I love. I sleep in the guest room. It's the perfect bed for me. I have flannel sheets. It's dark. It's quiet. She loves it too because now she can be whatever, watching a movie at midnight or 12:30. I'm downstairs asleep. I get my great sleep. I go up. Everything's fine. Yeah. And I don't know if it was ever. I don't ever remember having a thought process like you're explaining of very introspect. I just kind of did.
Yeah.
I just kind of do.
Yeah.
And I guess it works for me.
Yeah.
Where the super thinking thing works for you.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I get that. And you're meeting that goal. You're getting much better sleep, which I know you have a physical job. You need sleep.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to be this terrible person when you get home from work. Like sleep is powerful. It's all encompassing. If
I don't get good rest, I get sick.
Yeah.
And then I get, you got to provide.
Yeah.
Absolutely. End of the day, we're dads. We're out there fighting dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Trying to win.
We're blue collar dads. Like we do physical jobs and we want to be good dads. So. Yep. All right, engage in hobbies. So
I like this one.
We've talked a little bit about it. I knew Steve would like this one. So you've got to find something that you enjoy that is yours. That is, maybe you do it with your family, maybe you do it with a friend, but it's something that you enjoy. Maybe you like poetry. Maybe you like going to concerts. Maybe you like going to plays. Maybe you like shooting guns. Maybe you like going on hikes. Whatever it is, there's something that you've always wanted to do that maybe you don't do or don't do as often. But I guess I would challenge everyone, all the listeners and myself and you included, to make sure that we're identifying what those things are and deliberately setting aside time in the week, in the month, to actually go do them. Otherwise, you'll find yourself years later saying, I don't even own a fishing pole. I want to go fishing, but I don't have a license. I don't have any fishing gear anymore. Well, guess I used to fish. No. Right? This is so important to do something for yourself. And it is not selfish if it's done in a responsible way. If it overtakes your life and it's all you want to do and you're neglecting family and work and blah, 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 that's not what I'm talking about at all. But find something little that you like to do and make sure you do it.
Oh, 100%. I could go on and on about this, and I kind of will for a minute. Because early on in my 20s, I loved fly fishing. And I went all the time, daily, just for an hour or two, maybe after work. I golfed and I did a few other things. And then as life progresses and your kids get a little older, then you get into that rut of now we're doing gymnastics. Now we're coaching baseball now. And then all of a sudden you don't have the time for the hobbies. But that's part of you. The hobbies are part of it. Life is meant to be enjoyed.
Did you have time or did you make different choices?
No, we didn't have time.
Okay.
Baseball 2-3 nights a week, volleyball, work. The time got absorbed with other things, which is fine.
Which is just
because I felt I had a lot of fun coaching.
Yeah.
Sports, flag football, baseball. It was fun.
That's a good point. And I want you to keep going, but sometimes they shift. Sometimes what was one becomes another. So sorry.
And that's the shift I'm in now. So my early 20s and 30s, I did a lot of fly fishing. I did a lot of hunting. I golfed a lot. And then at some point, I just quit golfing because I started to do so much, things had to be cut off. Mm-hmm. Golfing, I was like, that's fine. I can quit golfing. Then you get kids, you start doing that. Well, now my kids I have one at home, two at home, but one's going to be leaving shortly. So I'm not coaching. I'm not doing all these other things. I'm looking at my fishing poles going, I'm going to start fishing again.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm going to buy a set of golf clubs. I'm going to start golfing again. Like I mentioned with my accountant, And then I've been looking at this 3-gun and USPSA thing for quite some time, but it was just, where am I going to do it? I didn't know there was something local. Mm-hmm. Well, I found out through the grapevine, through a couple different guys, hey, there's this going on. It's 4th Saturday of every month. You could just go down and show up. Mm. I just went by myself. Like, I knew one guy down there. I knew the guy that was running it. He was an old sheetrocker.
Okay.
Went, you're the president of this? Cool.
Yeah.
So then I started shooting. And I was like, oh, cool. I want to invite it. So I've invited you and some other guys. So now I do that once a month. And I just bought a motorcycle just 2 days ago. I thought, you know what? I wanted to ride a bike, a street bike, So I bought an old 2008 something motorcycle and start doing that just to have something to do that's not Instagram. I'm not going to be going on crazy things, but it's something I've always wanted to do. And life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
Whether it's little things that you can go and do, you can go fishing for a couple hours, go golfing for a couple hours, whatever the hobby is. I used to tie flies. That was a lot of fun, but whatever a guy can find, maybe it's making knives.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's wood turning. I see these wood turning videos and I'm enamored with them. It looks so fun just to sit there and carve on wood, or these epoxy things that they do. They put the slabs together. That looks so much fun. I'm like, that's probably a little bit more than I can. That's a full-fledged thing.
Yeah.
I need something simple and easy. So hobbies are a must.
Absolutely. They're
an absolute must.
Yeah. I want to share something that I appreciate that you did years ago that I don't know if you'll remember. I hope that you do. My youngest son, on his own, probably through watching YouTube or something, decided that he wanted to learn how to go fly fishing. I've never done it my entire life. I've maybe done it 2 or 3 times because people took me and they had all the gear and stuff. I was talking to Steve one day. I'm like, my youngest son's trying to get into this, and he signed up for a class. He's maybe 10 at this point. Like, I got to drive him down to this class so he can go down and learn how to make flies and stuff. And Steve showed up at my house the next day. He's like, "Hey, is Nixon home?" I'm like, "Yeah, come on in." And he had all these boxes of flies that you had tied that were extras, or I don't know if they were extras or you're just being kind or whatever. But Steve sat down with my son and said, "Let me teach you the different types of flies. This is where you'd use this one. This is where you'd use this one. And I want you to have these. Go have fun." And that meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to Nixon. And it wasn't something that was lost on us. So if I didn't tell you then, I'll tell you now. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was very much appreciated.
Yeah.
So
you got to share the addiction.
You got to share
Because one junkie wants another junkie buddy, right?
Absolutely.
I'll tell you a funny story about fly fishing. I was taking this to probably a little too far. So my oldest daughter was in the car seat carrier. She was maybe a year and a half, little. I would take her with me, and I would fish. I'd have her latched into the car seat with a bottle and a binky, and I would wade up the river, and I would set her on rocks. In the river, man. Steve. And I would fish, and, I'd fish the hole out, and then I'd pick her up, and I'd go set her on another rock, or I'd go set her on the bank. And I look back at that, and I go, that probably wasn't out of the year kind of material, but that's how much it meant to me. I was so enamored with it, and I had to go, and I thought, how am I going to go? I'm not going to pawn my daughter off on grandma and grandpa or whatever. I'll just take her with me.
See, I see a different side of that. I see there's something like we're talking about. We're challenging guys to find hobbies and go do them. You could have made an excuse, I can't go. But you went. And I know you well enough. I'm sure memory, looking back on it, you're like, let's get her on this sketchy rock. I know you didn't. I know that you kept her safe and you didn't put her in any sketchy situations. I know she was solid. I know she was safe, but you found a way to escape.
Yeah.
You found a way.
We did lose some binkies and some bottles, but that's fine.
That's awesome. All right. So number 12, practice gratitude. I'm so big on this. Gratitude is looking outside of yourself, being grateful for things that you have, things that you are, things you experience, things that you get to see. Just looking outside of yourself puts your ego down. There was a lot of years where I was like, well, we have this because I, blah, 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 I, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I realized I'm not smart enough to have put myself in the situation that I am in, I have an amazing family. I live in a beautiful valley with super kind, awesome people. None of that's me. That was given to me for whatever reason. And so I am grateful outside of myself. And then I look at things that I've accomplished and how hard I've worked and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how blessed am I that I was given drive like this, that I'm not giving up. I'm not making excuses. That's a blessing. I have not done or created or anything that I am as a gift. And I mean that deeply, deeply, deeply. I am not anything except for what I've been given. But what I've been given, I've tried to amplify it. So be grateful. Look outside of yourself.
Well, and that's biblical, right?
Did I just quote scripture?
Well, it's the law of the talent. It's the parable of the talents.
Yeah.
So it says here to write it down, write a journal. I don't keep a journal. I'm understanding this principle fully, though, because that's what I do every night when I go to bed. You like to do the gratitude stuff in the morning. Mm-hmm. I pray at night, and I tell God I'm grateful for that day. And you mentioned earlier that yours are, you try not to duplicate things. Mine are very repetitive. I'm thankful for work. I'm thankful for my body. I'm thankful for the things I don't acknowledge.
Yeah.
The little things that come in my life that I go, well, whatever. I am very aware of how blessed we are in our area, how much I am in particular, right? You just said that you couldn't do what you've done just on your own. I don't think anybody can.
Nobody can. I am not special in any way.
No. And it's not like we're rich either. We're just trying. We're not broke, but that's where mine comes in. So if you don't want to write a journal, my biggest thing is I just acknowledge God's presence, and I'm thankful because I'm here because he hasn't snatched my breath away yet. Yeah. I'm not done. He grants me breath every day in life. He's given me a ton of blessings. Work being one of them, being able to work one of them.
Having healthy kids.
Having healthy kids.
You've got amazing kids.
I got a good wife. Family.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? That's right. Yeah. So I acknowledge God in everything I do in my life.
Absolutely. Okay. Set boundaries. We kind of already covered that one earlier, but learn when to say no, protect your personal time, protect your energy. That one's, I'm going to skip over that one a little bit because we covered it, and I don't want this podcast to be super long, but it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. When listen to your body and set boundaries. So whether it's the way people speak to you, whether it's the time that you commit to other things or other people, it could be a whole lot of different things. But
time is huge.
Yeah, time is huge. How people treat you is huge. But stand up for yourself, set some boundaries that will be beneficial to you. 14, Stephen, seek purpose.
Yeah, volunteer or engage in meaningful work, align daily actions with personal values. So it has a list here, whether through service, religion, or focusing on your family. Find something that's outside of you that is important. Right? I serve in my church. I'm a Sunday school teacher. So all throughout the week, I'm thinking about the kids in my class and the lesson that I've got to prepare and focusing on what can I teach them that will impact them, hopefully. Because I can look back at things that I was taught along the way that were impactful, the teachers taught me that have guided my life. And we all need a purpose, right?
Absolutely.
Because otherwise you're that boat without a rudder getting pushed around by whatever the waves want to do.
And it doesn't have to be something huge.
No.
Maybe a micro purpose or something is just to be kind to people.
Yeah.
I was in the grocery store. I was in the checkout line, and there's an older, very mature old lady in front of me, and she had half a gallon of ice cream, and what was it? Something else. It was like a roast or something. And I could be wrong, but I made the snap judgment. She's probably a widow. There's not much here. And I just made a comment to her, and I said, hey, if I can have some of that ice cream, I'll come cook that steak for you. We having a party or whatever. And she turned around and talked to me, told me about her husband. And I was, I just thought, such a simple thing to speak to someone, to be kind. That's one of the things that I'm focusing on. I want to be a kind person. Well, then I have to speak up and I have to say nice things to people. If I see something in somebody, if somebody's doing good or they did a good job at something, I'm going to tell them, right? So maybe that's your purpose, is being kind, giving people compliments. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. It can be, my purpose today is to make people feel good.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, stay informed. That's a tough one, but just if you've listened to this podcast all the way through, you're staying informed.
Yes,
it shows that you care about something. You care about your mental health. You're putting effort in. You're listening to a couple random dudes give tips and what they mean to us. But just stay informed of, there's an app that I know that somebody uses that helps them with their mental health, and they have daily tasks and journaling and things like that. I'm like, why not?
Why not? If it works.
Yeah. If it works, why not? So just look for different things. There's not one way to do things. I guess the reason I put this stay informed is to stay curious. We don't get stuck in one way.
Exactly. If you can't do some of the things that we're talking about, like go camping or go fly fishing or go shoot guns because you live in downtown Chicago, you're probably shooting guns anyways. But if you're in Chicago, right, or New York,
I'm staying away from that one.
Or if you're in New York, there's things that are in those communities that you could find, like a book club or some other groups that are tackling what we're tackling here.
See, that's one thing, like part of me feels blessed that I've grown up in this rural community where I can just go do things. But at the same time, some of these cities probably have more groups and clubs and things that you could go and join. There's probably walking clubs and knitting clubs. There's more people doing more things. There's
more people than you realize that want to get together.
Absolutely.
So stay informed, find them and join them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Everybody went for the first time some point.
Yep.
Okay, last one, number 16, join Bonded Brotherhood. Whether that is following us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, interacting with us there, asking questions, making comments, supporting other people. Maybe you would consider being a donor. Everything that we're doing, these retreats we're putting on right now, Steve and I are paying for them. We want men to be able to just show up without the stress and anxiety of paying for a camping trip and food and tents and cooking equipment. We're providing all of that right now, but we would love to have some donors help cover some of the costs so that we can continue to do this. We're full-time blue-collar dudes. We have families that we're raising, but there was a time when what I'm about to say would sound cheesy, but I feel it so deeply. I feel like I was called to do this. I feel deeply that I can help people. I feel like I understand stress, anxiety. I understand depression on a very deep level. And I also understand the power of nature. I understand the power of being outside and just being with no expectations, nowhere to be, nothing to do, and being surrounded with people that understand and are in a similar place that might not be exactly where you are, but care about you enough to be there. So that's why we created Bonded Brotherhood, so we can create this space for people. Come on a retreat with us, be a donor, follow us on social media. We care deeply about what we're creating. So if you can join us in any way, join the way that you can. And thank you for listening to the podcast. We're grateful that you're here, and we hope that something we said resonates with you. And I challenge you to set a goal, something through this list of 16. Go back through it, slide through, if one resonated with you, skip back to that section, listen to it again, set a goal, find something to do that you can start taking action or more action, or set limits or whatever it is so that you can be the best version of you that you can be.
Yeah, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things, pick something. You don't need to do all 16. Let's get you better. Find something that helps you in particular. And till next week, huh?
All right. Thank you for listening to the Bonded Brotherhood podcast. We're thankful that you're here, and we hope that something that you heard today was useful. Please consider leaving us a 5-star rating as well as leaving us a review so we can read your thoughts. Thank you again.